Mike would have to send that out. Yeah.
Mike would have to send that out. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, but we can definitely forward him questions and stuff as well.
Okay, great.
All righty. Good morning, everybody. We'll give everyone a minute or two more to hop on. We're expecting a big group today, so I'm excited.
Jen, any fun anecdotes for all the attendees on the call so far?
Oh, I should have had a joke prepared, shouldn't I? Sorry.
Yeah, it's better sometimes than silence.
I'm looking at everybody's smiling faces on this Wednesday morning.
Jen, feel free to share the great new YMCA that just joined today.
YPG is excited to announce that YMCA of the Triangle area is one of our newest members in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I got my YMCA career started. So I'm extra excited about that one joining. Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the great thing about that is the Triangle has their own procurement department. They do an amazing, the Triangle does an amazing job with procurement and purchasing and, you know, researching vendors. So the fact that they've entrusted us with, you know, as a resource, we're just really excited about that. And we've just been beneficial with, we're up to 442 associations across the US now that are leveraging us in some way, shape, or form. And we're just very, very blessed to have so many Ys entrust us with at least assisting some in savings and efforts. So
thanks, Mike.
Way to go,
yeah,
Jen.
Thanks for that. Well, it was a team effort for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome. Good morning. My name is Jennifer Bell, and I'm a Director of Training and Development, MDM, a couple different things here at Y Purchasing. And I would like to introduce our speakers today, which I've been very excited about this webinar. We have Bobby Joe Miracades. I don't even know how to pronounce your last name. That is terrible.
That's okay. Mirciades.
Mirciades. Oh,
Just like it spelled, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's way better than what I was saying. And she is with the Greater Philly YMCA, and I'm just excited about what she's going to present to you all. And then we have a great team from OpenWorks. They're one of our vendor partners. They do a multitude of services, but they're going to kind of talk to you about best practices in your facilities across all the program areas. We have Brian, we have Taylor, Craig, I think is still on there a little bit. So we'll start off with Bobby Joe. And then we'll move into OpenWorks, and I will stop talking. But a couple things before we start. There is a Q&A section. So please make sure if you have any questions, which I'm sure there will be, please put those in the Q&A section. Mike and I will be kind of managing that and making sure that all the questions are asked. There is... wrote myself a few notes. Also, I wanted to put a little plug in for next week's webinar. It is on July 22nd at 1 p.m. and it is about inclusivity matters, innovations and inclusive fitness. So if you haven't gotten anything about that, let us know. We'll make sure that that invite also goes out. And we will go ahead and get started. So Bobby Joe, I'm going to actually turn it over to you. And thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. It's so exciting to see everybody and be on this event. So thank you so much for allowing us to join and represent the Greater Philadelphia YMCAs. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick because I have a little presentation for you. Can you see that? Excellent. Okay, great.
Yes.
So we just wanted to take a minute and go through one of my roles here at the GPY is Facilities Operations Administrator. And one of the things we've been tasked with is to kind of put together a procurement program, allowing us to consolidate vendors and really take a look at our contracts and some safety tactics and whatnot. So what we've done is we started out with our chemical program rollout, which is was the biggest one piece of all. So for today, our overview is just going to go through why the change was needed, some program goals that we instilled and that we're trying to accomplish, structure and timeline, some strategic outcomes, and a final thought. So with that, I'm just going to jump right in because this is very exciting. So why this change was necessary. So in a lot of our branches, the decision to overhaul our cleaning chemical program was driven by significant operational safety issues, as I had mentioned. In our previous state, each of our 15 branches, and that doesn't include or end our early childhood learning centers, were independently purchasing and using a hodgepodge of chemicals from multiple vendors. This lack of coordination led to a lot of inefficiencies, higher cost, and even some safety risks. So some key reasons why the change was necessary. We're looking at escalating cost, as mentioned, wasted budget, operating under numerous suppliers, products meant we lost bulk purchasing power. We paid inconsistent and higher prices, and we were incurring unnecessary, shipping fees and processing countless invoices across multiple vendors. So, and this just wasn't sustainable for a nonprofit. We want to make sure every dollar counts. So we really wanted to make sure we were honing in to achieve the best cost savings. One of the other reasons that goes into that is inefficient procurement and inventory. The lack of standardization created chaos in ordering and inventory management. Each branch kind of kept pages and pages of different chemicals, SDS sheets on hand, when many of them ended up being pretty redundant. Why have multiple disinfectants when you can have one that does the same thing for all, or same thing for cleaners and whatnot? So we really wanted to take a look at that. And actually what we found, some of our facilities directors, they didn't even know how many products they had. They didn't know half the products that they had in stock on their shelves until we really took a look at it. The next reason was because safety and liability concerns. Perhaps most importantly, the old approach posed, again, many health and safety risks. And, staff and contractors were mixing chemicals ad hoc based when what they thought would clean, right? And that could go for, something, the floor cleaners where we have, Profi, and, we were mixing Fabuloso to mix and to wipe the floors or to wipe down things. And it didn't necessarily match up. So we needed to take a minute and kind of go through that. Having multiple people mixing chemicals is just unsafe to begin with. And as you know, improper chemical use can cause some serious injuries. For example, mixing incompatible cleaners like ammonia and bleach, that can release toxic fumes. And we actually saw an uptick in workers' comp issues related to chemical splashes and fumes. And again, attributable to inconsistent use of PPE and lack of standardized procedures. And so we had to go into the next area, which was considered inconsistent cleaning results. With every branch using different set of products and mixes mixes, the cleaning quality varied widely. Some locations were using subpar or overly harsh chemicals that really weren't effective, as I mentioned, while others might underdilute and a good product and end up getting poor results. Sometimes when you're mixing things, people think, oh, the better it smells, the cleaner it is. And that's not necessarily the case, and we'll go into that in just a little bit. So we have to kind of get out of that mentality too when we're choosing, for cleaning results. We had a few incidences where, again, we were mixing chemicals, or people were bringing in chemicals from home and mixing them with our chemicals. So we had to stop that immediately. And then the next piece was the training and compliance, and any challenges that may come our way from there. Each of the dozens of chemicals had different usage instructions, dilution ratios, and hazard warnings. And ensuring every cleaner or maintenance worker knew all of the proper procedures was next to impossible when we were utilizing so many. So what we did with this program is we really honed it in to choose, 5 basic chemicals, standard across the board. It got to a point where we couldn't send team members to another branch because they would have to learn that branch's way of doing things. So with this change, we were able to, everybody across the board is trained the same way, in the same chemicals. We use the same things, chemicals across the board. So now we have interchanging team members who can now help out at other branches if needed. Let's see. So, that was mainly why the change was needed. So let's talk a little bit about our program goals. Are there any questions before I move on? We good and no questions?
Nothing yet.
Excellent. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about our program goals, our structure, and our timeline. Our program's goals are centered are centered on efficiency, safety, and consistency. At a high level, we're aiming to reduce cost, streamline operations, and improve safety and quality, as I had mentioned. And here are some of the goals that we're looking to achieve out of this. I'm sorry. We want to achieve cost savings and efficiency. So diving into that a little bit, our core goal was to save money while maintaining the same cleaning quality. And by standardizing and bulk ordering a narrow selection of chemicals from one supplier, mind you, and I'll get into that in one second, we expect to leverage volume pricing and eliminate redundant spending. So what we've done is we've teamed up with Imperial Dade for our branches. And this way we are able to access, again, bulk ordering, better pricing with the same products that we love. And so we have consolidated it down to one vendor. And that's it. And as I mentioned, that was our we've teamed up with Imperial Dade for that. So safety and training, again, we wanted to foster a safe work environment. I'm sorry, going back, I'm sorry. With Imperial Dade, some of the things, it also means fewer deliveries and invoices to process. Our accounting team is thanking us for that. That now they just have to review one, and they know it's approved going forward. Another thing that we did with Imperial Dade is, because they are our sole provider right now of chemicals, they have made their website conducive to exactly what we want. We have our catalog. They have taken out all other chemicals from their website. So when we go in and order, the same chemicals are being ordered across the board. They can't stray off and say, oh, well, I want to try this one, or let me do this one. That's it. It's right. It's so clear and concise for them. They just have to go in, click the button, and off it goes. And again, no extra chemicals in there. Safety and training, we talked a little bit about that, and we'll continue to talk about that. Again, the consistent cleaning quality, what we did was we took some time to really evaluate our cleaning structure and again, those chemicals. So we ended up putting out a spreadsheet for all of our facilities directors to fill out what you use in what area, when you use it, how you use it, excuse me, how they're diluting it. And what we did was we took that and we narrowed it down into, again, the 5 main chemicals. And I'll show you those in a minute. Program structure, talking about that. Timeline and milestones. So we set out a pretty ambitious timeline to get this rolled out. And what we did was, I started in February and we had this rolled out by May 26th. So this was pretty aggressive to get this done and out the door. And it continues. Every other week we have our biweekly facilities call, and that's our first item on it is feedback. How's it going? What's happening? Is everybody happy with it? Do any changes need to be made? So with that, yeah. And again, yeah. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about vendor and product consolidation. But before I go on, are there any questions? I know I'm throwing a lot at you, and I apologize. I do have a nice 1-sheet page that I can send to everybody, or we can make available for everybody, and I'll show you that real quick. Can you see that? The 1-page summary, detailing out kind of everything that we've done. Again, brief, high overview summary of a 1-page sheet for you to review. So I do have that available for everybody. So structure and timeline, part of this was we came at this pretty aggressive, as I said, and what we had to do was we had to hone in on our single vendor partnership, which I mentioned was Imperial Dade. And by funneling all purchases through one supplier, we consolidate our purchasing power and get far better items. So with that, core product standardization. So I had mentioned that too, just honing in on those very specific chemicals and not swaying from that. So I'm sure a lot of you are asking, well, how did the rollout go? And how did we get them to comply so quickly? I didn't really give anybody a choice. I just said, here's what we're consolidating. And here's the list. So, you know what? Actually, hold on 1 second and I'll show you. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I wanted to have this. I should have had this open for you. Okay, hold on 1 second. So again, you'll see here where we ended up consolidating. I just have to come across here. There we go. We ended up consolidating, and this is the main spreadsheet that we rolled out to everybody and as to what's approved and what's not. And as you see, we listed it out by vendor, manufacturer, product, item number. So for ease of use, easy for our team members to search if they needed to search. Now that was prior to Imperial really just shutting down the website and saying, here's all you can purchase. Dwell time, proper PPE. Again, that is so important when using chemicals, and any notes for usage. So again, we went through every area, general flooring, carpet care, rubber floors, the cleaners and disinfectants. We went through those, and we narrowed those down. And again, we check in with our teams bi-weekly to see. Like initially, we didn't have the biorenewables glass cleaner. We had actually removed that and asked them to use Clean by Proxy. And what ended up happening was the group consensus was they want a glass cleaner brought back. While the Clean Proxy did work, you really had to follow the instructions for making that work on windows and glass. And that is a spray on your rag, no more than 3 spritz, and then wipe. You couldn't really saturate the rag, can't saturate the window. So there was definitely a proper protocol to use with that product. So again, as a consensus, the team said bring back glass root cleaner. So we did. So there are some exceptions that we'll make to bring back certain things. As you can see, we have a cleaner, we have a disinfectant, we have a mold and mildew cleaner, glass cleaner, excuse me, and a disinfectant for the bathrooms. So we really narrowed it down, and this is what our team is sticking to, and it seems to be working pretty well. Okay. And as I mentioned, training and usage of the simplification. Gosh, so with that, let's see here, what's next? Okay, hold on. So with that, the training, that was a huge effort by all. And that started from our leaders up at the top down to our facilities directors, our third-party cleaners, some of which we'll hear from today. Everybody getting on board with this. And one of the ways we were able to not just have our teams trained, but also our cleaners was, I'm going to show you this. So we rolled this out in conjunction with our spreadsheet. So this is just a great playbook for that we have on every single cart. Every facilities director has this up in their office so that everybody across the board knows what they're cleaning, what they're using, what area they're cleaning, what needs to be used on specific areas. And I'll take you through this real quick. So here's our product legend. It's just a shortened version of what I showed you in the master spreadsheet. Just a nice one-sheeter that they can look at and say, okay, what cloth do I use? What is the proper PPE I should use? And then again, some safety notes here. So with that, I'll show you the first spreadsheet here, and you'll kind of get an idea of what we did. And we mapped out every single area. So what we've done is we've taken the task and what needs to be done. And I'll take a few of these, the doors, pictures, bulletin boards. They can use Profect 64 on those. But oh, I did not update that yet. So the glass and mirrors, you can use Clean by Proxy, or we've added back in the glass cleaner. They can use that. And they'll be using a blue rag for those. As you can see here, a little bit grayed out. We had everything for the floors from extraction to damp mop, Clean by Proxy again, and again, Profi, and WeWax. So as we go through, and again, the proper PPE, we have here how often it should be cleaned, how many times a day, week, if it's monthly. We map that out for them. And again, this is the vestibule areas, and we broke it out, as you can see, common areas, program and studio rooms, gym and running tracks, what to use, locker rooms, bathrooms. We broke it down, aquatics, field houses. Now, the one I do want to talk to is our ELC. This was a big one because this was the biggest change. Our ELCs, we are NACE compliant and certified. So with that, there were only certain chemicals you can use in these ELC and childcare areas. And this was very important because, again, you have to use products that are odor-free, color-free, and Green Seal certified. So we did our research on that. And what we came down to was Green Solutions 101, which is a wonderful cleaner. That is the only thing that can be used really in the childcare areas. except for there is a bleach and water solution, a 1-to-10 ratio of bleach and water. It is to be used on the tables and chairs after the children are done eating. And that, we have proper machinage from Imperial Dade, who gave us a one chemical management system with one slot in it that allows us to properly dispense that out. They also had to have washing their hard toys and soft toys. Hard toys, it's pretty standard. Teachers are just required to put the hard toys in dish soap, let them soak, and rinse and dry them. But again, they couldn't use anything with scent, with color. So everything had to be odorless, colorless, and Green Seal certified. So we had agreed on 7th generation across the board for washing things. The soft toys, now what we do is we kind of changed this a little bit. This procedure was, and the teachers bring our facility directors their baskets for the soft toys. And we have special 7th generation laundry detergent that we wash these in. And then we bring them back to the classrooms. And then hand soap, again, we chose 7th generation. So this was probably the biggest change that our teams had to go through and experience. Other than that, the standard areas, we were already using a lot of the products that we're mentioning today. So this is how we went across the board. They have an inspection list and whatnot. So let me just close that. So I know I don't, my time's coming up. So let me just go through again, kind of what the bigger picture and why this rollout mattered beyond chemicals. This chemical breakdown allowed us to properly coordinate our yearly shutdown, or as we call it, beautification deep clean week. It's allowing us to consolidate and really take a look at our vendors and purchasing programs, which we have partnered with YPG, who they're amazing. If you're not a part of them, become a part of them, definitely get involved. It is very helpful when you're trying to organize a program like this to have that extra support behind you. And again, additional purchasing power too. It allowed us to standardize opening and closing procedures, what our team members, need to do upon that. It's also allowing us to create our first ever maintenance, deep clean and routine maintenance playbook, which is very exciting. We're getting ready to roll that out within the next week, which our teams will use for their shutdowns and beautification week. It'll guide them through, really remembering areas that they need to touch on and go through. And I can share that with you in a second. I'll show you that. It also allowed us to go through and look at our chart of accounts so that we have proper line coding for financial clarity. And then out of this also is budget preparation and capital project planning. It's allowing us to really take a line there and being able to budget properly for future years. And the next thing is also our preventative maintenance programming. As I mentioned, we're rolling out our very first playbook, which is really exciting. And then it's also setting us up for success in transitioning us to a new CMMS system. You would think, how would one program really lead into all of this? Chemicals touch every part, including our safety. It really touches every facet of facilities, and you wouldn't believe it, but it really does. again, it's amazing. And then, of course, last but not least, is our onboarding and training program. As I mentioned, we're able to train someone at one branch and they can collectively go across all branches and properly know our protocols and structure and safety procedures. So we're really taking the workers' comp out of it as we're properly training our employees. So, overall, in many ways, the chemical transition, as I had mentioned, it served as an operation proving ground first, and it tested how we communicate change, secure buy-in, streamline processes, deliver consistent measurable results. And again, that's over 15 branches plus our ELCs. And getting this right was really essential. The success of this rollout gives us credibility and structure and the confidence we need to tackle every other operational initiative that builds on this foundation. So with that, I'm going to show you that last slide and or that last our new playbook. I'll let you see it, which is super exciting. Again, let me just pull that up for you. And then again, any questions? I am wide open to questions or feedback or anything, and I'm always here available too. Even after this call, I'm here to help anybody that has additional questions or to send any of my lovely information too. So give me
Bobby
one
Joe,
second.
everybody wants copies. So whatever, if there's
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
will get a lot of requests for this information. So yes, as long as it's okay with you to share, people want
Absolutely.
copies.
We're a
Okay,
team,
perfect.
right? We're a team across the board. So I'm very excited. Yeah, I'll put my email in the chat, and I can please email me and I'll certainly get you a copy. So this is our exciting beautification, deep clean and beautification playbook. And again, this hasn't even been rolled out to our teams yet. It's still in final review, but I'll share it with you. It's a lot. It's 72 pages. So I know a lot of you are like, yikes. But I promise you it covers every possible area you could ever think of, as you see here. Let me get down to the good stuff here. And I'll show you. Okay. This is and again, this is just one example, locker rooms, and it really takes you through what you need to prepare for if you're going to shut it down. It takes you through the lockers and storage area, showers, what you need to clean, trash cans, disinfect shower heads, valves, things to look for, even if we're not the professionals who are certified. It has sections that say, call out the right contractor for fixing. But what we can do on situations like that, while we can't necessarily fix a whole HVAC system, we can certainly monitor it and look for cracks and anything that may be sounds or anything that may be going wrong with them that we can report in. And beautification week is that time. While this is routine maintenance, yes, but people tend to pay more attention during beautification week because you're shut down. You don't have as much stress and constant work orders going on. So this allows you to really stop and take a look like, oh, it's my section. I have to do this. Okay. So with that, and again, you think of it, it's in here on what to do. So do we have any questions? Other than I will give out copies to everybody and anybody.
The only thing, Mike, if I've missed something, let me know. But the only thing I see is just people asking for you to share all of this hard work and great knowledge. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I've seen them.
I think what we'll do is, and this has been great feedback from everybody. Bobby Joe, you're a superstar, just to say that right now. What we'll probably do is, I would say after this call, Bobby Joe, if you want to send whatever documentation you want to myself or Jen, That way you don't have to be, I know you've got a lot on your plate. We can help manage that communication of information to the group.
That'd be great.
So I would say the card or whatever other documentation you want to share, we can distribute that to everybody if you're okay with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Happy to.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right. Now we have our awesome vendor partner, OpenWorks. So I don't know if Taylor or Brian or Craig, who I will let you guys take over now. Thank you so much, Bobby Joe. That was, oof, it really and truly, that was a lot of work that I know. Oof, yes.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, well, and thank you. Everything that Bobby Joe said was spot on. And really what we'll be covering today is just a lot of information really supporting what she just covered with everybody. So just to give a really quick introduction, I'm Taylor Patterson. I'm our Director of Enterprise Solutions here at OpenWorks. We also have Brian Manis on the call as well, and Craig Birch. So we will all be speaking a little bit to some of the best practices for your facilities. So just to give a really quick overview of who is OpenWorks. So we are a facility management company located in Phoenix, Arizona. We've been in business now since 1983, and we are now on the 3rd year of being on the Inc. 5000 list. Just to highlight some of our awards and certifications, as you'll see here. So we are ISSS certified. We have received a SIM certification, which is a really big award. It's something we're really proud of. Really, this is just an industry recognized credential, just saying that we are, compliant with some of the best practices and in several different categories. One being quality systems, service delivery, human resources, health and safety, and environmental stewardship, and also management commitment. So we've been awarded this certification, and we are actually the first franchise and company to receive this award. So it's something that we, like I said, are really proud of. Let me go back a second. You'll see here too, again, I said we do facility management. Cleaning and disinfecting, that is the main service that we offer. Outside of that, you'll see there are a multitude of other services that we handle as well, ranging from floor care to windows to even, pest control and landscaping. Now, let's get into more of the nitty gritty and, like I said, some of the supporting information to what Bobby Joe just covered. But, really the reason why the cleanliness is so important is a multitude of reasons, but really important for your members. They want to know that when they're going to a facility, that it is clean, that it feels clean, that they feel healthy when they're in the facility. First of all, it prevents the spread of germs and bacteria. We know this. We know that it is super easy to spread bacteria really quickly in an environment like this. So that is first and foremost to promote the health and safety of your members in your facilities. Outside of just promoting the health and safety and then the prevention of spreading of the germs, it enhances the experience. I think we all can probably relate to this. Just going into any type of facility, if we can just see that it's clean, it feels clean, it makes our experience much better. So that is another really big, of course, benefit to this. Outside of that, protecting the equipment. This is super important as well. We know that there is a ton of, important, expensive equipment in your facilities. And so using the right chemicals really will help maintain that equipment long term. Outside of that, building member loyalty. Again, when you have a member that goes into your facility and they can tell that it is clean, they feel healthy in there, it does build that loyalty with your members. And then outside of that, the image. Image is so important. This is something, again, I think we probably all can relate going into really any type of facility. If it feels clean, if it looks clean, it just maintains that professional image. Lastly, cheapest price does not represent the best value. I think we all know this as well, especially in a service industry. We certainly want to be aware of, what we're spending on chemicals, what we're spending on services, but sometimes you do get what you pay for. And so that's something to be aware of as well as you are, purchasing the chemicals, as you're potentially using vendors. This is something to pay attention to. So let's get into the nitty gritty of just some of the best practices. So first of all, using the chemical dispensing systems, this is really important for several different reasons. One is that it does prevent waste. Obviously, we want to be aware of cost and what we're spending, and this helps with that. If you are using the chemical dispensing systems, again, it's making sure that you're not wasting any of the chemicals, that they're all being used properly and diluted properly. It also prevents the buildup from, again, overpouring the chemicals and having that correct ratio. Whenever there's that buildup of using extra chemicals, not only is it wasteful from a cost perspective, but it can also be damaging. It can be damaging for your floors. It can be damaging for your equipment. You even sometimes can start to see that appearance of using too many chemicals, especially when you're looking at the floors. And that's something that really a lot of the members are paying attention to, even if they aren't thinking about cleaning. They don't know much about cleaning, especially, commercial cleaning. But if you look at a floor and see that is too many chemicals on it, it's really apparent. And that can cause a lot more work down the road of having to remove those chemicals and potentially repair the floor. And that goes for the equipment as well. Compliant with global harmonization standards. Again, we want to be compliant in all areas and making sure that we are using that correct ratio of chemicals. This goes back to just the safety. I know that Bobby Joe was mentioning. Again, keeping us compliant, keeping your facility safe, and making sure that there aren't any, nothing that's occurring just due to using the incorrect chemical or the incorrect ratios. And then access to safety data sheets. When you are using these chemical dispensing systems, there are even some that have QR codes on the systems to where you can access these SDS sheets really quickly. There's no way that you're misplacing them. They're really easy to access just because you're scanning them oftentimes. So that is one of the other benefits of these systems as well. Brian, do you have anything to add to that?
I do. Thanks for the intro here, Taylor. And Bobby Joe, I just wanted to commend you on such a great, very impactful and very detailed structure that you guys have been working on over the past few months. So for everybody who's on the call, I'm assuming it's a lot of directors and facilities managers all throughout the country, right? I'm on the business development side of OpenWorks. I work with people like Bobby Joe and the facilities managers at the locations. I just want to kind of echo as far as like what Bobby, I was just going to say ditto after, Bobby Joe's great, presentation, but what you've worked on. So we're here to kind of be subject matter experts with your locations. I mean, it was probably a mix of a lot of just in-house cleaning at a lot of the YMCA's, or a mixture of both outsourced services at night and have your employees doing it during the day. The proper standard operating procedures is very important to us in our operation, as well as we're in alignment with the YMCA's coincided with all that Bobby Joe had just presented to, as well as like the specific procedures, like spraying the three sprays on the cloth rather than on the surface, that sort of thing. So it all goes, that's what we hold standard wise to our providers who we place into the accounts. We're just a small part right now, but we're growing with the YMCA's. I am in the Philadelphia area, along with where Bobby Joe is, kind of dealing with all the locations there. So just just to kind of back up what Taylor had mentioned, as far as like not just coming into a facility that smells clean. Obviously, Bobby Joe mentioned like the incorrect chemicals that you want to switch over to just with one vendor and have a short list rather than the fabulosos and the other chemicals that are being used in locations that really aren't doing what they need to do, right? And the YMCA's are a good mix as far as many different, we'll say, verticals: early education, family entertainment, health and fitness, that sort of thing, all mixed in one building. So there are different chemicals that need to be utilized in each of those locations and need to be standardized and followed up on. with some monthly audits that we do proactively for your locations. We are in alignment with you, the facilities managers and or directors, to just be in alignment with what you guys have in place already with what Bobby Joe presented to. So just to, once again, just to be a good partnership with the health and safety of the facility and make sure everything's in line.
Exactly.
I'll go back to you, Taylor, or Craig, if you had more, if you want to finish
Yeah,
up.
no,
Taylor. Sorry.
that was perfect. And, I think just moving on to cleaning fitness environments, and I know Bobby, Joe, when you shared your screen with some of the chemicals that y'all will be using, I saw the pH neutral, and it was more for the floor care. But I mean, again, pH neutral wipes, even for the equipment, is super important. I know we've mentioned this several times now, but to maintain the equipment, to maintain it for the entire lifespan of the equipment, this is really important. Again, if you're using the wrong chemicals, it can lead to just wear and tear on your equipment, and it's also bad for your members as well. Something else to be used is just dish soap and microfiber towels. And this is probably included, of course, in Bobby Joe, what you have put together, which I know is pretty extensive, but really great information. So thank you for sharing that. And then cleaning the wet areas, the showers, locker rooms, restrooms, pool decks, saunas, etc. Brian, I'll let you touch on this a bit as well, but using really specialized equipment for these areas is really important, like the kayak cleaning system. So Brian, if you want to speak a little bit more to the kayak.
No, it's just a great system to utilize. I don't know if all the facilities are required to have that, Bobby Joe. Do you know if that's going to be upcoming with what your mandates and protocols are?
Say the
To have
question to
these,
me one more time.
to have like kayak touchless machines to utilize in the like the locker rooms and showers and restroom areas.
Yeah. So right now we have the touchless. I mean, you do the hand and it comes out.
They
Your
all do
soap's
have
ready.
them. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
if it's not in any locations, yeah, it's a great piece of equipment. Save
Mhm.
with time and efficiency as well as like the actually what needs to be done rather than, doing your spray downs and your dwell times and your, the mopping of the floors and doing the walls, that sort of things in the showers, that sort of thing. It's just a great piece of equipment. I'm just glad that it is
Mhm.
utilized in most locations, right? So if we don't
Yes.
have them in there, we are in alignment with that. If you do want have it or don't, just due to cost. I get it. YMCA's are non for profit, and we try to work with something within your budget. But this is a great piece of equipment in order for the efficiency of timing for man hours.
Lastly on here is, cleaning the quote unquote shiny floors. Again, this is so important, not only for the health, the safety, but also just for the member experience, for their perception of your facility as they walk in. Again, this is something that even unknowingly we just look at. We look at the floors, and that will sometimes indicate to us whether a facility is clean or not. And so, again, using the correct floor care, the correct chemicals, the pH neutral. Now, also for some of the larger facilities, having the auto scrubbers is really going to be beneficial as well. It really gets the floors quite clean, and it's also very efficient as well. So that's something that would be a best practice, something that we would recommend. Now, outside of everything that is on this slide right now, I think another thing that I really want to reiterate, and Bobby Joe definitely touched on this, is just following that scope of work. So following the daily, the weekly, the monthly scope of work is going to be so important in maintaining your facility and achieving all of these results that we've talked about. So I love, Bobby Joe, that you have such an extensive list and such a detailed scope of work. It is really, really important. And even outside of the standard scope of work for what is being done daily, weekly, monthly, having that scope of work in such detail for the deep cleanings that you're doing, it goes a long way in the overall maintenance of your facilities. Brian, anything else to add to best practices?
No, I just want to keep on time. Does everybody have any questions
Yeah.
at this point? We just have a couple more slides. It's not nothing too more extensive. Just want to kind of back up.
We do, and I want to make sure that we save enough time for some Q&A at the end. So these are just some of the problems that we've identified within some of the Y facilities that we work with, that we've spoken with. Again, some of our recommendations. I won't cover all of this just due to time, but we will make sure that this information gets out to everybody. But again, like I just mentioned, sticking to a standardized scope of work, um, you know, having technology to track some of this information as well. This is really important as you are working with vendors, being able to track, when things are being done, whether it's specialty floor work, whether it's additional services, having a portal system where you can see this is something that, again, just something to keep on your radar vendors. So like I said, we'll send this out to you. I won't read it at a time. I do want to show y'all, these are some of the other clients that we work with nationally. Of course, the Y is on here, and you'll see a variety of other education facilities, healthcare facilities. So these are just some of our largest clients nationally. Outside of that, I mentioned early on in the call, of course, cleaning and disinfection. This is the main service that we offer. But if you are finding yourself in need of just even extra advice on this topic, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're happy to give advice, suggestions, anything that might be needed. That's not exclusive to just janitorial, but we do the electrostatic spraying, landscaping, pest control, as I mentioned. So again, if you're finding yourself in need of any of these services, certainly reach out. But even if you're just looking for some tips and advice, we are always here to help answer any questions. So, like I said, I want to leave time for some Q&A. So if anybody has any questions for us, please feel free.
I actually do have one. Oh,
Go ahead,
sorry.
Jen.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
We get lots of questions on wipes versus spray for that fitness equipment. Do you all have any preferences, recommendations, that kill time? What would you all recommend on those fitness equipment pieces?
Really, as long as it's
Wipes or sprays? Is that what your question is? Like
Mhm.
what was recommended?
Or if you even like them both, just best practices with that. Yeah.
I don't think that there is much of a preference one way or another. I think that would be more just, what y'all's preference is. Really, as long as it's pH neutral and okay for the equipment, then I think either one is completely fine.
Okay.
Or
There you
like
go,
less of
Wise.
less of an alcohol based one. And as Bobby Joe had mentioned, like when you get into the ELC part, right? Things need to be odor free and color free, just due to the more sensitivity. But yeah, it is a wide mix as far as like even when you get into the gym part, to the cardio, to the physical fitness, to that portion, that's just a lot of other factors and variables and people that it's kind of spewing over into like the odor free and color free out there too as well. But no, there's really no difference that we prefer. That we kind of just train our providers in using either one and whatever's in alignment with the facilities directors.
Yeah. So I'm showing my screen again, and I apologize for jumping back in here. But for the wellness equipment, and again, wipes versus doing an actual wipe versus a spray. You'll see here the dwell time for a regular wipe. It's 1 to 4 minutes. Because you're wiping, just let it sit real quick. However, if you spray the Profect 64 and then let it sit and then wipe, it sanitizes in 2 minutes, but it disinfects in 10 minutes. So it depends on what the outcome you want from there.
Right.
Honestly, again, and of course, feel free to use anything that you prefer, but these were the two. Again, we wanted to give them both an option of some actual wipe versus a microfiber and or paper towel and go.
Thank
Bobby
you.
Joe, or no, this one, we've got a question for Kimmy Chambers. Kimmy has a question for OpenWorks. How does OpenWorks compare to Centos or UniFirst?
How does OpenWorks compare to Centos or?
Right. So the question is, how does OpenWorks compare to Centos or UniFirst?
So if you want to, do you want to take that, Taylor?
Either, or you can take it, Brian.
It's more of like I would have to say Cintas deals more and UniFirst deals more with the supply of chemicals and whatnot too, correct? That's just a portion of what we do. The main portion of their business is dealing with that, like supplying of those services. We're more on the service side, labor, and dealing with like the certain chemicals that are being used. So we're more of a full facilities management service company rather than those are more product based companies. Does that answer the question or no?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're more than is that if that makes sense, more full facilities service management with our core being the clean disinfection portion of it. Cintas deals more with like, when you go for uniforms, area rugs, mats, that sort of thing. Plus they do also do services too, but they're more based on the product service, the product of each facility, of the chemicals and supplying those and consumable products.
Awesome. Kimmy says, thank you, Brian. Any other questions or comments?
I just had a quick question for like the people on the call. You don't need to all bombard with this as far as like, do the majority of the people who are on this call have in-house service mixed with outsourced service, or are they just full in-house employees doing the cleaning services there? And Jen, you may have that answer more readily, or can jump in there with that answer.
I've just read both, and that was both. I mean, I'm getting a lot of both.
Okay. A lot of mixture of like nighttime cleaning with an outsource and have their employees doing it during the day. Okay. Yeah, it's a
All
full-time
in-house.
operation there at the Wise, right? I mean, it's constantly moving. It's many moving parts. Bobby, you touched on a lot of stuff that you guys do throughout the day, like the cleaning of like the toys and whatever you're using with like the dish detergent, right, Bobby Joe? That needs to be done by the employees there during the day. The wiping of the tables after each shift that the kids get done within the ELC centers, and then obviously the equipment needs to be. You just have to have a good ambassador there, like a day porter service, regular employee doing it.
Correct.
Brian, to answer your question, if the replies were a horse race, right now it looks neck and neck.
Okay, neck and neck. Okay, they're coming down the stretch.
That's right.
Yeah. I see some chats coming through. As you grow, you realize more staff is not the most cost effective. And you're right. That's it. It doesn't mean you need more staff. You just have to do, have the proper structure in place.
Right. That's right. So yeah, we're here to help. We're here to help. That's the part. I appreciate Taylor and Craig if he's still on, but we do appreciate our partnership with you guys and dealing with YPG and Jen in the certain pockets. I'm the rep, like I said, on the East Coast, in outside the Philadelphia area, but teaming up together, making your lives easier. That's what we're here for, to answer the questions at any time, as Taylor had mentioned. But obviously, if you're having some cost-effective issues as far as like it's really not working with my employees or whatever the case may be, we're here to help by providing like a day porter or just to come in and help at night to do that sort of cleaning disinfection.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby Joe,
I see here.
Looks like you've got a call.
Yeah.
Question from Daniel.
Yep. So thank you for that question. That's a good question. We if it's marked as Amazon, it means I was not able to get it through Imperial Dade. However, I can tell you those few Amazon products, such as the 7th generation, we are in the middle of reevaluating because our ELCs were flying through the hand soaps. So Imperial is working with us on getting a free and clear hand soap and laundry detergent, and we have it ready to go to re-roll that out. Excuse me. Both made by Spartan Chemical, and I do have those ready to roll out. I just haven't made that switch yet to adjust those, but right now they're still using the 7th generation, and yes, that has to be ordered off of Amazon. And again, just be cautious of that because that cost can go up very quickly because of how fast we're going through the stock. And hold on, yes, because Amazon may have the same product available or same seller each time. That's correct. Yeah, unfortunately through Amazon, it depends on the seller or the product. But those few items, again, we are diligently researching how we can bring that into Imperial Dade. Hope that
Perfect.
answered your
Thank you. I'm getting awesome. Thank you. You guys are doing great. This recording will be sent out to everybody that registered. Um, even if you couldn't make it today, this will be sent out to everybody that participated and registered. So we have about 1 more minute. Anything else? I know it's lunchtime for us on the eastern side of the country. So any other questions?
A quick add to that, Jen, is we are
Yeah.
starting at Y Purchasing. We are starting to put the
Yeah.
videos of all the webinars we're doing. This will be on our on our YouTube page at Y Purchasing. I guess you could, Google Y Purchasing YouTube and that'll come up. So we'll be putting more and more of our webinars on there, so they're easily accessible as we go on. And then yeah, so.
One thing
Perfect.
I can finish up with here is that, training, and I'm sure OpenWorks folks, you can agree on that, is training is key. You have to keep your employees trained, and that's whether or not you have OpenWorks coming in and for their example and doing the training, or if you have your chemical provider such as Spartan. That's what we did. We actually had Spartan and Imperial come in and then go out to every single branch twice during this rollout to make sure that everyone was properly trained, that their chemical management systems were altered to make sure that all of the chemicals, they kind of went through and made sure that the ratios were properly coded and everything. So training.
I think that's the YMCA way, train all for all those program areas.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Yes. Oh my gosh, training. Woo. Thank you all again, everybody, for joining. This was fantastic. OpenWorks team, thank you. Bobby Joe, thank you. Thank you all for the work that you do and keeping us healthy and safe. And to our little ones, to all of us that come to the YMCA. Again, this recording will be sent out. And then we will gather everybody's information and all the presentations that OpenWorks and Bobby Joe put together and get it back out to you. Whatever they tell us we can share, we will share with you all. So thanks again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the time.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.